Good morning, everybody, and we are on the road to Hana. But is it worth it? Stay with us. We're going to let you know. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We are in Maui.
Ooh, it is beautiful.
And the question of the day is the road to Hana.
Yes.
Should you take it? Is it worth it? Short answer is it depends.
It depends.
Because first, you got to know what even happens there.
Why take the road to Hana?
What's there to see?
Everybody asks when you're going to Maui, did you take the road to Hana? For years, I've been going to Maui, and I never did. Well,
now we did. So first off, before we get into all of that, if you're new, welcome to Rise and Dine. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Bob.
And please subscribe,
like, share,
hit
give
the
us some
bell.
love, give us some hate, whatever. Give us something.
Here's what you see. Beautiful, 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 and beautiful again scenery.
The answer to should you go is
It depends.
it depends. And we'll get into it in depth, what we mean by it depends.
Because if you see an hour's worth of beautiful jungle scenery and ocean and you're good.
Yes. The most beautiful trees, waterfalls, plant life, treacherous cliffs
Well, that would
over
be
your
part of the
shoulder.
road, but
I gotta tell you, it's really spectacular, and it depends where you live and what part of the world, because this may be so unlike where you live that you may be blown away. We live in Las Vegas, so for us, this is a totally different environment. We live in a desert. This is definitely not a desert.
maybe, if you're someplace with a lot of green, maybe an hour's worth of drive of that, and you're like, okay, I'm good. The ocean's beautiful.
I've seen all the plant life. I've seen all the waterfalls. I've seen
one or two, and I'm good.
all the crazy roads I want to drive on.
So first off, obviously, that's what you're going to see is beautiful scenery. That's the big bottom line of it is beautiful scenery. Then there's produce stands and fruit stands along the way.
Along the way, there's a lot of markets. And this is what's interesting, is they have all of these little fruit and vegetable stands. Nobody mans them.
Well, not all of them are that way, but many are on the honor
very
system.
small ones. It's like family farms, if you will. And they have these, little stands, and they have these little cash boxes that you go and take what you need and put the money in the box.
You're
kind of lovely.
You're on your honor.
On the way.
And if you take it the whole way, then you end up in Hana, which is essentially like a
very
country
small
Hawaiian town. Yeah.
It basically has a post office that's open a few hours a day.
Hours a day, yeah.
One bank, the Bank of Hawaii, that's open a few hours a day. Forget about weekends. I think there's an ATM, they said, in one of the stores.
So there's a few places to eat. There are a lot of B&Bs. Yes. There's a resort or two and a spa and that kind of thing. But it's not someplace you're going to go and have some kind of crazy nightlife
right.
or there's adventures there or anything like that. There isn't.
Taking the road to Hana, if you will, is not about the destination getting to Hana. Well, it is in a way because, you're surviving that ride, but it's not about the town itself. It's truly about the journey.
It's about getting there. And one particular YouTube channel that we like of a couple that does all of Hawaii. Now I've lost their name. Went out of my head.
It's Hawaiian Vacations.
Anyways, they suggest if you really want to do it right, I suppose, is to really take your time going to Hana, stay overnight in Hana, and then drive back. Because here's the thing. This road, again, circling back to should you do this? Is it worth it? Is it for you? The road is very narrow in many places, single lane.
Single lane, you're going over a little bridge and cars are coming toward you. So you have to
You got to take your turns.
You got to determine who's got the right of way on that. If they're a government vehicle, repairs, because there's always repairs on the road.
Things can happen.
There's boulders coming down off the sides, trees. So there's always work happening. So you have to drive with your eyes open. You got to know what's going on.
And the point being also about going, if you drive to Hana, stay overnight, drive back, because you really can't drive that road at night. It's not like it's lit. This isn't, you're not, it's pitch black at night.
Yes.
You don't want to be driving the road to Hana at night. So you've got to time it out if you're going to do it in a day. Start very early.
We started
so you're back before it starts.
We started at 7 a.m. and we returned to our hotel in Ka'anapali at 6 p.m.
Maybe.
So it is a long,
it's the whole day.
So you've decided this is what you want to do for this vacation. You want to take the road to Hana. The question is, how should you do it?
Should you drive yourself or
take one of these tour companies to do the driving for you?
So if you drive yourself, there's a few things you got to know, which is, one, you got to love driving. If you are the driver, it is all about driving. You're not going to necessarily see all
You're
the
not going
stuff,
to see anything.
or at least the views and the things. I don't say it's not stuff like there's every 5 minutes there's something to pull over for it. That's not it.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. There are certain rules. You just cannot pull the car over when you see a turnout, park the car, and go off and hike, see a waterfall, go take pictures, or go into the pool of the waterfall. You can't park and leave the car. That's a $243 fine.
35. $235.
$235.
It's a lot. It's over.
It's a lot of money.
The point being,
that will ruin your vacation real fast.
So if you're driving, you got to just love the drive.
You got to love the drive
because you can't just stop any old place. But the places you can stop, and that it's okay. If you're driving yourself, then you can stay there the amount of time you feel like staying there. Keeping in mind that you probably should be out of there before dark.
Yes, if you go with the tour as we did. They know where they're going. They know the rules of the road. They do this 4 or 5 times a week. They know where you could pull out and actually stop for pictures. They know what waterfalls to take you to. They know all of the spots. They know where the places, the food stops should be. Versus we went to one place where Auntie Sandy's, where they had wonderful banana bread. Mm-hmm. They knew that place. So it's not like we're just driving willy-nilly without a stop. A tour guide will take you to places that is tried and true.
Right. But if you're a person that's like, I hate being told what to do. I hate it. Don't tell me where to eat. I'll eat where the hell I want to. So then maybe you should be driving your own self and exploring in that way. That might suit you better. But you got to, obviously, we chose the tour. So
we chose the tour because, one, you like to drive better than I do, and you're probably a better driver than I am. I'll be honest. I'm not the greatest driver in the world. And some of those hairpin turns where you are on one lane and you're looking down, you're in the ocean. I'm not that intrepid of a traveler. I'm not going to do it.
And, so, having lived in Southern California for as long as we did, hill roads are no big deal. It's common in that area. So the road doesn't particularly frighten me to drive it, but it's work. It's a lot of work. It's work and it's focus. So you got to know that if you decide to drive yourself.
So everything, with that being said, everything about the journey itself as the driver, you're going to miss. Mm-hmm. Because you're not getting the picture opportunities. You're not looking at, look at that tree. What the one tree was a rainbow tree, they call it.
Yeah,
right?
The rainbow eucalyptus tree. They're
beautiful trees. Like I said, it was fauna and plant like that I had never seen before. So you're not going to see that if you're behind the wheel because you're looking dead straight ahead.
Yeah, you've got to. There's no option.
So that was a plus for me for taking the tour.
For taking the tour,
Yes.
So it comes down to, how do you do it, tour or your own car? Your own preference, but just know that if you're the driver, don't get a big car. When you rent the car,
don't get a big car at
don't
all.
get an SUV. It takes up a lot of space. It's a small road, but it can be done. You know, when they say, I survived the road to Hana, it's not like there aren't guardrails, you know, but
there are
it is
guardrails, and some of the
focus.
guardrails have gone down with the side of the cliff through erosion. So it's okay. And here's another thing. There's always rocks coming down and road work. So you can be backed up for
it can happen. Yeah, you
for
can
quite
end
a
up
while
backed up
on
for
the
quite
road.
a time. And again, if you're driving yourself and you have car trouble or you get a flat tire or that kind of thing, you are backing up everybody because there are no shoulders. This is not a road with shoulders on the sides.
Yes, and who are you going to call?
Right? To get out there. So, you know, you get stuck and then you call a tow truck. I'm not sure how they get to you.
So what are the practical considerations of either taking a tour or driving yourself? Let's go through a couple of the items. Let's talk about money first. Right?
Okay, yeah. So
let's do that because everybody's considering. You could rent a car. Now, the average price to rent a car in Hawaii, that's all I can find, is about $157 a day. Now, we don't know if that includes insurance
which you'll want,
or mileage, because you're going to spend for mileage and you're going to spend, you better get the insurance and gas. And gas here is about pushing on $5 a gallon still. So it'll cost you, I think we estimate it, and then if you're stopping for lunch somewhere, and if you're stopping for snacky snacks.
Yeah, just some little something. So it's about $25 a person per meal, and if you're out for the whole day, that's at least 2 meals while you're out. So that starts to add up, and you're pushing somewhere around $300 probably.
Right.
For the excursion on your own. Also, one of the Black Sand Beach Park, which we'll show you. The name escapes me at this second. It's a small beach, but it's lovely. It's black sand. You're allowed to go there. It's a public beach, but it does require a reservation of time because they control how many people can be there. Got to do that ahead of time if you're smart about it. You can risk it. You know, depending, you're midweek, you're probably fine, but technically that's what you're supposed to do. So if you're on a weekend, you might not be able to get in there. So, but money-wise, we are thinking it's about $300.
$300. Now, with the tour, you're getting a very experienced tour guide, a very experienced person who not only knows the road to Hana, but also really knows the history of Hawaii. And some of the stories that she was telling us was fascinating. Plus, we got 2 meals. We got breakfast, a continental breakfast with scones, muffins, fruit juice, coffee. We had all the soft drinks we wanted on the bus itself. And we had a great lunch. We had huli chicken with macaroni salad, rice, and I think there was curry. Someone had
green
curry.
Salad and tofu curry.
So that was a pretty good meal.
And we had time for some shopping at a couple of places. And everywhere we went was lovely. Like I said, a black sand beach. There was this.
It was beautiful.
Lava caves we got to go into.
Lava cave went in. Boy, do you have to really duck low for that one. Hit my head a few times going through that.
And
but you come out on the ocean, so it's gorgeous.
One of the other waterfalls, which darn cold for me, so I'm not swimming in that one. But it was swimmable, and you could have gotten in there. Some did, but
and that's the waterfall that you see in most of the travelogues about Hana. You see that waterfall, and you see the pool where people swimming. So you'll see it here as we're talking about it.
But also, if you're driving yourself, there are a lot of places on YouTube videos about, you should stop at this place and that place and this other place and something else again. And those are probably older videos. And a lot of those places, you can't just randomly go. There's not places to park. It's actually private property. You can't, but People do, but you really can't just wander off into, oh, I just saw this waterfall back there. Stop. Let's go back.
Yeah,
No.
you can't do it. You're risking a very expensive ticket, or worse. There are signs that the locals, Native Hawaiians, have written that really to respect their property, their pools, because it has shrimp life and all kinds of
freshwater shrimps that are harvested there, and
so if you just pull over and say, well, I'm going to jump in that pool, and you have suntan lotion or whatever you put on you,
it's all really
you just
bad,
polluted that water.
Bad for the
so you can't do that.
ecology there, and
Yes.
it's a polluting problem, and there are many signs. So we saw a number of YouTube videos about all these places to stop on the road to Hana, and as we traveled it, I kept thinking, like, where could you possibly stop to get into some of these things? And there are near the beginning of the road to Hana, there are a couple of botanical gardens that you can see that I'll bet those are very pretty. We didn't stop at those, but those sound pretty neat. And again, if the whole thing seems daunting, maybe just to drive in a bit and you could see a couple of the botanical gardens, maybe get as far as Twin Falls, and then come on out. You've done at least some of it.
Exactly.
You'll get the idea.
You'll get the flavor. You don't have to again, it's not about the destination, it's the journey. And you'll see its beauty and everything it has to offer, by the halfway point, really. I would say.
I mean, the farther you go towards Hana, the thicker and more lush all the vegetation gets.
Beautiful.
And just packed together. You can't even see the ground for all the amazing trees. And flowers, and it changes constantly by season. So it's amazing. But again, if you're not sort of really floored by that, you probably don't need to do the whole thing. Go in a couple of hours, see the beauty of that, and come on out and do something else. You don't have to do the whole road.
But here's the thing, again, about taking the tour. And then I'll tell you, I don't think we mentioned how much the tour costs. Yeah. But before that, when we started the tour, they picked us up at the hotel. They and picked up a few other people. I think there were 11 of us. 11 of us. And they were lovely people from all over the country. And we were off to the races, and it was wonderful. So, comparing costs, let's go with that. We said it was around $300 to travel alone.
An estimate. So $300 to do it on your own.
And it's a guesstimate, because we don't know how much you could really rent a car for if you rent it for a week or whatever,
and I don't know. You could bring your own food. You could make a picnic of it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Not buy any food. So.
It costs us with the tour, and I assume all the tour companies charge about the same thing. I have to
I would
imagine.
Think. We saw a few other tour companies.
Yes. So I'm going to say it was around $500 in that ballpark. So you're on vacation. You have to make that decision for yourself whether or not that's too pricey or you'd rather do it on your own. But that's a consideration. Another consideration is how you like to travel. Do you like to travel with other people?
Or would you just assume, like, I don't want to meet new people.
I don't want to talk to new people. I want to sit in my own car, do what I want to do.
Play the music I want to play.
Exactly. But again, if you're going to do that, abide by the rules. Know the rules first, which if we went on our own,
we would not know that.
We would not know those rules at all. But
there are pullouts that are meant for you to pull over to let people pass you.
Yes. Not to stop.
They aren't parking places. Every single pullout is not like a view location or an invitation to go wandering off into a bamboo forest. That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Most of it is private property.
Yes.
So, those are all considerations and decisions you have to make for yourself. So, to answer the question.
Yeah. Is it worth it?
I would say.
We actually have two different answers. I'm
going to say yes. For me, it was well worth, two questions. Was the taking the trip to the road to Hana worth it? As everybody talked about the road to Hana, was that worth it? And was taking a tour worth it? I'm going to say yes on both counts. for
And
me.
I will say that if you're going to do it, I found that taking the tour was a relaxing way to do it. And I very much enjoyed all the Hawaiian history we learned, and local history and information about some plantations. And we saw taro fields and knowledge about that. I really liked all of that. So it was worth it for me for that. Do I think it's really necessary to go all the way to Hana and back in a day? No. I don't. If I were on my own, I don't think I'd make it the whole way. I think I'd get about halfway through and I'd just get tired of the drive and be like, I'm just exhausted now.
Because it is it tests your will.
It kind of does
because if you're driving alone, a single driver, and doing all the switch, there's not a chance I would do that.
So without the input of the tour guide and everything being managed for you nicely, I don't think I would have. I don't think I'd have made it all the way. I think I'd have turned around. Bonus for us, because of we lucked out with traffic and we didn't get stuck behind anybody the whole time. Wow. And even she said, this has been a very good trip. We didn't get stuck behind anybody for any length of time.
Which happens, I guess, often. A lot.
So we were warned about it as we got on the bus. We didn't get any of that on this time. So we had the time and daylight left to stop at Ookipa Beach, which I guess they call Turtle Beach maybe. Huge pile of sea turtles. We thought they were boulders.
Wow.
30 sea turtles all out on the beach.
Something
it was
like
amazing.
From another era,
I know, they look prehistoric. They were
Jurassic
huge.
Park. I've never seen turtles that big.
And we had seen turtles snorkeling, like one or two. Okay, wow, look, a turtle, I'm excited.
Yeah, but then
and here's all these turtles.
Huge, like the size of a Buick. I mean, big.
They seem very
huge.
Big. So that was bonus.
They're sunning.
That was bonus. If we were on our own, I would not know that was a place to go and see a whole lot of turtles.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known anything about that.
So that was a nice bonus.
Yeah. So she had said, and what do you guys think? We got the time. This is a pretty cool stop if you want to do it. And we all voted yes.
And we got off. We went down there, walked down there, got some good footage, as you're seeing right now. And hopefully it's good footage. And it was pretty spectacular. I mean, they were like prehistoric. I've never seen anything a turtle that big.
So that was fun.
That was great. So I'm a yes, you're a no. I'm a tour person. You would say, I wouldn't even go all the way.
If I were driving on my own, I probably wouldn't make it all the way to Hana.
Yeah. And if I were driving on my own, I'm with you. There's no way. There's no way. But in any case, if that's something you want to do, it's something people have been telling you for a long time. You go to Maui, you got to do the road to Hana. Yeah. I suggest you do it any way you choose.
Yeah, whatever works for you for the fun.
Whatever you like to do. If you like to drive on your own,
do it.
Do it, but follow the rules.
Yeah,
learn the rules.
Know what
first
you're up against.
Or, the tour guides. And if you're going to use a tour guide, we recommend Valley Isle. We hope you enjoyed this video.
Thanks for this special one. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.